welcome back. We're here today taking a look at this Handy B.O.B 1500 lift. Now we've done some reviews on the Handy Sam 1000 and 1200 pound lifts, which were the prior two we had. This one is its bigger brother. I'm going to go over the pros and cons of this table that we found so far. Only used it about 8 days currently, but so far, rock solid table. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy the content. Some of the biggest specs this thing boasts are: number one, this thing lifts up to 40 inches. It does not lock in quite that high. It's about 38.5 to 39 where it actually locks in for your safety bar. The safety bar is a little bit different than the B.O.B 1200 in that the 1200 automatically locks in and you have to unlock it in order to go back down. I don't really prefer that. I prefer this design where you don't have to mess with any of that if you don't want to. You can leave it in an unlocked position unless you've got something that you want to set overnight or that you want to work under the table or something like that. Then you can lock it in. The ramp on this, it's a total of 42 inches on that ramp. The other ones boast a 30 and a 36 inch ramp. That is not nearly as good, and it puts a lot more angle on getting up here. This table stays in place when you pull things up across it. I usually use a riding mower and actually pull mowers across it. It also stays in place if you hit it with anything or you get caught on anything. It's got a lot better base than either one of the other ones. The other bases will move extremely easily, but this base stays in place. I'll get down there in a little further detail here shortly. The width of the table is wider on this than either one of the others. This has a 52 inch wide top to it. The other way, we're going 84 inches, which is what the other two are also. But they are not 52 here, they're only 48. That gives you a lot better likelihood that your large ZTR or something like that that has that wide base will fit on here just fine. One of the things I do not like about it, however, is that we usually don't use this middle piece because it's super heavy. It's a lot heavier than either one of the other ones because of that length and width. It's kind of built up. I'll show you on the back here shortly. I don't use this piece hardly ever, but in order to pull something up on here, it's got to be, you know, 32 inches or so wide. Otherwise, you've got to put that middle piece in there. I never had that problem with the other one. I would almost always be able to pull every riding mower, every zero turn up on it without the middle extension. I didn't need that piece. Now, I'm put in a position on a lot of these riding mowers where I have to lift up this heavy piece to get it on there. That's one of the things that I really don't like about it, but there's not a whole lot you can do when the extension comes from this middle section. Instead of being 24 here, it's 28 here, and then the 12-inch extension ramps. It's got the dropout for oil changes and things like that. I think they use something as far as motorcycles go on that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how much this weighs, but it is heavy. But look how beefed up they have it back here. It says right on top of it, do not leave it in the up position. You would definitely not want this falling on your feet. This falls on your feet, you're breaking some toes if you don't have some steel toes on. It does have nice handle grip so you can move it, get it more centered. But again, I don't think that really helps, especially not with my bad back, on getting this up and down. The back pieces of these, they have angle iron underneath them, kind of beefed up, and this steel is super thick. Real good steel, real thick. Take these off and we'll take a look at the undercarriage real quick. The first thing you notice when looking underneath is this big air cylinder. It's not an airbag on these. Again, this is a B.O.B Airlift 1500, part number 14472. You do have to buy the extensions for it in order to make it this wide. They're 12 inches on either side. The base on this is great. It actually pivots on this bar. as opposed to the other ones, they've just got a flat bar. They don't pivot at all. Not made nearly as well. This also has bolt holes. I did not read the manual on the thing, but it has bolt holes, which I believe could probably be screwed to the floor. And this thing would actually stay where you put it, as opposed to the other ones. They like to move around a lot of times. They're just not made as well. I tried to bolt the other one to the floor with a couple Tapcons. It just kept breaking it off. But I constantly get stuck on those other ramps. It happened a lot. As we look up top, you can just see the quality of everything. Everything's greasable. Everything's got bearings. Everything's made very well. You can look at these and you can see those uprights are just extremely thick steel, welded and made very well. Greaser there, greaser there. This is your lock for the safety. And this is one thing I really like about it too, because on the B.O.B 1200, it's got the lock that's automatic. As soon as you start going up, it automatically locks in. I like to be able to choose whether I lock my safety in or not. If you want to lock it in, push it down. On the other one, I did make an extension for this to come out for the release. And that's on the 1200. It makes it a little easier. This, some of our 1000, we actually put a rope here and pulled it back to the back so we didn't have to bend over to lock and unlock. That's a lot of bending when you're doing so many mowers every day. If you want to unlock it, it just snaps right back in. Look at these ball bearings. 2 on either side. One heck of a built machine it looks. I think this thing is going to last for years and years. Another thing I love, look at those wheels. Those are double cast iron wheels. The other one actually has plastic on the Handy Sam 1200. They're plastic wheels, and I have had issues with those plastic wheels already. I've had it about a year or a little bit over the 1200. The other one I've had 2 or 3 years. They're both still good tables. They both still work exactly how they should, but I've kind of beat them all to heck. We're real rough on things. You can see up top, ball bearings on the inside. I mean, this thing is just, if someone was going to build a table that they wanted to last, this is the table they would build. I've seen quite a few tables over the years, and this is the best table I have seen, in all honesty. I've got some nicks and scratches. I set it down on just caught the corner of one of my tables the other day, one of my lift tables. Scratches all in the front. Again, this is from 8 days of very hard use though. I mean, we've probably had 100+ mowers up here already. Worked on several. The best thing about this is it's so smooth when it goes up and down too, and it goes up and down quick. I'll show you a loaded up and down here shortly. Let's do an unloaded one. Kind of a little catchy there. I think it's because underneath I've got stuff all under the wheels. You really don't want that. You want to keep stuff away from those wheels. Let's go back up. Obviously loaded, it's going to be a lot different. But look how quick that goes. I mean, that's one heck of an up down. This drop out here, I've had a few issues with it sliding forward and going up and me not being able to lock in, something like that. I've never had that happen on any of the other tables I've owned, so I think maybe they could have made that just a tiny bit better. I don't know if it has something to do with these here, maybe if they came back just a hair more. But this is also, look at it, look how beefed up it is. The other ones don't have all that beefiness to them. We do have reviews on the other two. You can look those up. Look at all this stuff. I mean, this thing, so this table is expensive. As of right now, I paid right about $3,000 with tax for it. It's a big investment, yes, but does it make things quicker? Absolutely. Is it easier on your back? Certainly. If you're doing this all day long, you know, one of those Handy Sam 1200s, I think I paid maybe $2,400 last year or something for it. I got a steal on the Handy Sam 1000 originally. I think I only paid $1,000 for it, you know, 2 or 3 years ago when I got it. But anyway, that's besides the point. If it saves you money and it makes your work faster, this thing's gonna make me back that money in no time whatsoever. I'm not worried about that. But at the same time, you don't want to spend more money than you have to. It is a big investment. Unless you're working on mowers all the time or need something that lifts 1,500 pounds, you may want to go with one of the cheaper lifts. Again, this thing, with me putting that many mowers and stuff on and off of it and working with it and everything else, that's probably a year's worth of use for most people. And that's been in a week for us. We tear them up. This cutout's 12 by, let's see here. Looks like about 12 by 20, about 12 by 21. But it comes all the way to the back, so you have lots of access. I like that for like clutches and stuff like that on zero turns. It's really easy to get in here and work on something if you can pull it up that way. I will probably drill a hole somewhere up there for steering rods and stuff to come down through, so I don't have to mess with that. I've got that in both of the other tables. It just works out very well that way. I also think these side rails and also the rods that go through to hold them are built a lot better. We've got them where they go through here, 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 and here. Those go all the way through on those three, and then they're halfway through on the back because of the cutout. Those rods are built a lot better. They're a lot thicker than the other tables are. On those other tables, they're not as thick, and I have had some issues with the Handy Sam 1200 with the rails bending. Just kind of, you can tell they're, you know, steeping down, seeping on each edge. And then also from here, it actually looks like it's bending a little bit. I'll take a view of that here real shortly. Let's see if we can't take another look up underneath at a different angle. All the paint's perfect on this thing. All the welds are great. You can see where it was spot welded and stuff on the other side. I believe those are spot weld marks anyway. You can see all through here. Might just be actual weld marks. I'm not sure, but it's a nice finish. They last for a long time. I think it's the same paint as the other one. It sure looks like it, but again, thicker. That's thicker. Let's take a look at this one. So this is the Handy Sam 1200, beat up for over a year. The issue we've had with this is that when we go up, this won't even stay in. It'll fall right out. The side ones will also fall right out. You do not want one of these to fall on your toe. Make sure you remove those. Don't keep them in the up position when you're using this. Again, it has the same kind of stuff, but when we look at the back, I guess this has got a little bit of beefed up area to it, and it is a thick steel. This isn't a bad steel. It's a lot lighter than that other one, I can tell you that much. We've got a full review on this in our other videos if you want to check those out. I'm just going over kind of a quick overview. You also get that additional 4 inches width here, as opposed to this one's 24, that other one's 28, which gives you your better width. The cutout on this is exactly the same, about 12 by 21. And when I go up with this here, when I go down with this here acts as a jack point that you can move it around easily with this jack that Handy sells. That's not down all the way, I think it's up just a hair. But that just lifts the wheels off the floor so you can get on the back wheels and you can move this around easily. That's one of the things that was very difficult about the B.O.B 1500 was moving it around. There's not a good place to move that B.O.B 1500 around. Let's go up here. Yeah, so that's about what happens every time you lift that up. If you leave these extensions on, they immediately fall off. Again, this thing has been beat all to heck, yes. If you look, you can see pretty easily here how angled this is, how angled the whole thing is, especially at this end where the cutout is. Yes, I've overloaded it plenty of times. Yes, that's why it's like that. I think for, you know, medium duty use, this is a great table. It's got the airbag underneath though. That scared me at first that I was gonna get some metal or some gas or something down there and then it was gonna ruin it. I haven't had any issues so far. I don't foresee any issues. The wheels on this, again, I've had some issues with those popping off, but they are heavy duty wheels, but they are plastic again. This one is made well. I just think that B.O.B 1500 is a lot better. Again, this lock automatically locks in. You've got to unlock it before you go back down. Not my favorite on this Handy Sam 1200 for that design. This one I think honestly has been beaten the most out of all of them. If we take a look at the other one. So this is the Handy Sam 1000. I've had this for the most out of all of them. This all bolts together as far as the back ramp goes, but it's super short. Look how short that is. Very hard to get something up. Oh, it's a 20-inch ramp. Very hard to get something up a 20-inch ramp, especially when it's heavy. It doesn't like to go up that ramp. This one starts at 8 inches when it's on the ground. The Handy B.O.B 1500 is at about 10 inches. That extra 2 inches does make quite a bit of a difference, but with that extra ramp, it helps a lot. Oh, so I guess this one's 7 inches, not 8. We'll check that Sam 1200. I believe it's 8 inches then, and that's where I was confused. This one's been beat for the longest, and it honestly looks the best out of the two versus the 1200. About the same size cutout. About 12 by 20, 12 by 21. We can go up, and it has the other one has a foot pedal just like this also, or something similar that comes with this. I don't like the foot pedal. I'll show you my upgrade real quick. Also, now this one only goes to 31 inches at full height. That's a big difference from 40 inches, especially when you're working on mowers all day long. That's a big deal for that extra inches on them. You can see this has the hydraulic cylinder also. Not sure what that says. Tag under there that says something. Anyway, this thing has been a real workhorse. It's got the metal wheels just like the B.O.B 1500, and it's made very well also. The back design, again, very different. It doesn't just pivot like the other one does. You can see it's all made well, but it's got the lock, and you see where we put just a pull cord to pull that up and unlock it when you're done. Just some of the upgrades we've done. This back piece is very heavy, but we don't ever take that off. That's what's nice about this one, but again, it's very small. Let's go take a look at the completely down height of this 1200. I know that the 1500 sits at 10 inches. At least that's what I measured. Here is something that we have upgraded on these. I didn't even bother with my other one. I just went ahead and made a contraption like this. All we really needed is this here. It's just a couple on-off valves. Turn off the incoming supply, and to go down, we just drain it out. Let's see how high this one sits actually real quick. Sorry for the shaky camera and stuff, guys. Look at that, it's at 40 inches also. So it goes just as high. Right about 8 inches at lowest level, which is fine because on this, we have a little over a 30-inch ramp. That makes it a lot better than that other one. Again, with these super long ramps here, that makes it even easier. Stuff goes up on here so easily. with a 42-inch ramp, or 42 inches. Makes it a lot easier that way. Let's go back down with this real quick and measure this height as far as the lowest height. Again, this one's a little bit different setup because I didn't need all that other stuff that we did over there for another air hose. But yeah, just a regulator and a couple shutoffs. Probably not OSHA approved, but works very well. $10 inches at the bottom. Now with the 42-inch approach, that makes a huge difference. Well, after this walk around and showing you kind of the pros and cons of this thing, I'd say it's a definite buy. There's nothing about this that would make me not buy it again, and I think it's going to outlast both of those other ones, probably 2 to 1. I mean, just how thick and stuff it is. I'm hoping that this area doesn't bend at some point like that other one did, just because it's got that buoy. I mean, you've got a lot of weight on either side. Things tend to get a little bit contorted, especially when you overload it. But hopefully, since this one's rated for 1500, I normally don't get close to that. Every now and again, we'll have a big Kubota diesel or something. Normally though, everything I work on is gonna be a little bit lighter. So this is a little overkill for what I need, but we use it commercially all day, every day. Great table overall, definite buy. I would say, since they don't sell the 1000 anymore as far as I can tell, I would say this is a lot better than that 1200. The 1000 was great, except it only goes 31 inches. You know, it's a game changer when we went to the Handy Sam 1200. For working on riding mowers and stuff, getting that extra up has helped my back so much. I've got an extremely bad back. If you're a longtime subscriber, you probably know that. But this table will save you so much in time, so much in back pain, that if you're just starting out even, you know, it's a good investment. If you can afford it, or if you can get credit for it, this thing's gonna make your money right back that first season you use it, guaranteed. Hopefully this helps someone make their decision if you're looking at buying a table for one reason or another. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content.